Hello. Oh, I timed it just right. The raid is
Thank
here.
you for the follow,
Thank you,
Jeff.
Jesse, very much for that. And we're about to kick off a bit of an adventure tonight. I have no idea how it's going to go, but I'm learning out loud, like I like to do in some of these previous streams. And we're going to have some fun with scraping some web data because I want to start making my own fun data for some exploratory data analysis and definitely some call it training for some tidy modeling down the road. So I got to start refreshing my virtual memory on how to do some of that stuff. So welcome. My name is Eric. If you haven't been here before, I do a few bit of adventures in the art community with content creation, and I'm just always happy to learn more about cool things in data science and open source. So welcome, Jesse. Thank you again for the raid. Welcome, Model Wrong, Delage, and RDR fan. Thanks for coming aboard. You should be able to type text in the chat. I had it at emote only when I was offline, but I think I switched it back. But definitely somebody give me a shout if I didn't do that right. So yeah, maybe we just start getting right into it. This is going to be an interesting topic because I'm about to... Okay, good. Thank you, Model Wrong. And let's bring in the chat. Yeah, let me put that flip there. All right. You've definitely, if you've seen my streams before, you know how much I love learning about, data science and especially R and open source. And that's not my only interest. And this is one of those rare times I'm going to try and combine 2 or 3-ish things that I really like to follow. Yeah, that maybe not in the works, RDR fan, but I want to at least get myself in shape for it if the opportunity presents itself, because I did have, like many of you, I was watching season 1 of Slice with great interest. It was very engaging. Jessie did an amazing job getting as far as she did, even with picking up tidy models. What was that, like a month or a month and a half before the actual season began? So I'm definitely inspired, and I want to see what I can do. Hey, Big Pod, welcome. Big Pod is one of my friends from Wimpy's World stream or Wimpy's World community, so thanks a lot. Okay, so yeah, back to where I was going with this. So since I was, let's see, let me do the math here. I think I started watching this in 1988. So I was a wee lad, as they say, in those days. And I got hooked on, of all things, besides Saturday morning cartoons and doing stuff outside, causing mischief sometimes, I got hooked on pro wrestling. Yes, I am not ashamed of it. It gave me a whole boatload of entertainment. I grew up in the era of Hulk Hogan running wild on the WWF at the time, and I didn't really like him that much because he kept winning and he kept being the same character. And so I was always kind of like one of those that you might say rebelled against the script. I had my favorites, and maybe they weren't supposed to be the favorites, but I thought they were entertaining. And then over time, we had a change in the industry a little bit. Fans started to get a little more, you might say, smartened up to what was happening in the business of pro wrestling. We all know it's not real, but it's entertainment. They are upfront about that, and there was a shift in the mid-90s, early 90s, where they started to bring a little more realism, a little more interesting themes to it. You might say some themes of a little attitude around it. The Attitude Era, by far my favorite era in the entire wrestling landscape. A lot of my favorite ones that I watched growing up came from that era, or maybe slightly before it, and some are still around. Well, there's been some interesting fluctuations in this industry. There was a time when we had 2 companies really going toe-to-toe for the viewership, the ratings, the revenue from live events, merchandise sales. Of course, most of you know the big one that's still around, the WWE, used to be WWF at the time. And then slowly over time, another one called WCW was slowly catching up, and then they got to the point where they were a cutthroat competition for viewers on Monday nights. It was called the Monday Night Wars. We had Monday Night Raw that WWE created, and Monday Nitro that WCW created. This was so entertaining to see how each other would one-up each other, so to speak. They would take wrestlers from one side to the other. They would try to make more realistic themes and storylines, not to mention the cutting the promos and a little more realism. But then, over time, guess who won? You could say Vince McMahon, the head of WWE, won because he bought his competition in 2001 or so. Yeah, it was 2001. I would say yes, Hogan did go to WCW. That was one of the catalysts of WCW starting to take the market share of WWE. And in particular, when Hogan, who at that time had always been what we call a baby face, or a face, meaning a good character, he turned to the dark side, as they say. He formed with a couple of ex-WWE guys, the New World Order, which ended up revolutionizing the industry as like the cool heel group, the cool bad guy group. And that really put Vince in a bind. He had to start creating his own characters to combat this. And that's where a little bald-headed Texas redneck, so to speak, named Stone Cold Steve Austin, started running roughshod over to WWE, and he sold a lot of shirts, generated a lot of revenue. And thanks to him and somebody that all of you may know is Dwayne Johnson, before that he was The Rock, also played a huge role in this swing of the competition. Two like amazing talents that you don't see more than once in a lifetime just happened to be in the same company at the same time, basically. And between them and some of the other people they developed, WWE slowly won the war. And so they bought WCW, and in my opinion, I think many others share this in what we call the internet wrestling community, the industry's been kind of a decline ever since, because they were basically the only game in town that had any national audience after that point. And this has been this way for many years, but things have started to change. There's always been like little upstart federations, if you will, that have tried to carve a niche in WWE's audience, but have never been really taken off that much. Some what's now called Impact Wrestling, used to be called TNA, they were trying stuff. Ring of Honor, ROH, has always had a cult following in the Northeast. But things changed a couple years ago when a certain son of the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, so if you're on this, we're going to cut the football here for a bit here in this history. Jacksonville Jaguars are owned by an owner, I can't remember his first name, his last name is Khan. Well, his son, Tony Khan, happened to be a lifelong pro wrestling fan. He sounds like he grew up in a similar time as me. Yes, Tony Khan, yes. He watched the golden age, if you will, the 80s and the Attitude Era and WCW, and he was always like, he wasn't like just saying he was a fan for lip service. He actually apparently was on the various forums that you would have in the early days of the internet, talking about wrestling, trying to figure out who the bosses were going to push as the next star, you know, all these debates that we would have. He was in those forums, apparently. And so he got together with some wrestlers that had left WWE, and they were kind of like jumping around what we call the independent circuit. So it's like they weren't tied to one company. They were just touring the world, touring the US, stepping in various shows. And there was a group of them led by the son of a very influential person from WCW and later WWE, Dusty Rhodes. He was one of the top ones in that era. His son, Cody Rhodes, was kind of like wanting to do his own thing a little bit. He kind of floated his idea out there with a few others of his friends in the community, and they got together and they had this idea to organize their own show, like their own live event, no commercial backing. It was just them with a little help from past acquaintances. They did this in Chicago. They called it, was it All In? They called it All In. And it was really successful, but it was like they ran the show. There was no Vince McMahon. There was no Ted Turner like in the WCW days or Eric Bischoff or things like that. They just ran it, and it sold like crazy. They sold out the arena. Like, I mean, it wasn't like the United Center, but it was a pretty big arena. They sold it out, and Tony Khan got wind of this. In fact, he went to that show. He met with these organizers that were wrestling, Cody and a guy named Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And basically they all met for like a week or so and said, you know, maybe we could do something with this. And hence, All Elite Wrestling was born. This is now a new company backed by Tony Khan, and they have now made what in my opinion is a big dent in what's called kind of the mind share of pro wrestling. This harkens me back to the days when I was growing up and I saw this competition that I just alluded to. So I know I'm kind of doing a big setup here, but not only have they got a completely radical take on how to develop their characters, how to engage with fans, how to use social media, they're using all the cool stuff that we've all been yearning for, like a change, just something different, a real alternative. And they even want to use data collection as part of this, or at least make it seem a little more realistic, even though we all know what's behind the curtain here, but they want to give it a little more realism. So, inspired by that, and with a recent explosion in data that's available, I think it's a cool time to start analyzing these data as if it was a real sport and start looking at some metrics that we can get from like each of the individual wrestlers and also kind of the general sentiment of the fans on various social media platforms, like through, say, Twitter or even Reddit or things like that. And also look at the breakdown of the TV ratings, kind of see if we can merge all this together and see what kind of trends we can develop from it. Am I going to get like the perfect models from this? Oh, absolutely not, because we all know this is a predetermined thing. But we might be able to generate some, you might say, looks at the business of it, looks at what are the popular trends. And so why not? Let's have fun with this. So that we're going to start that journey tonight. I don't know how far I'm going to get. I have not done any web scraping in probably 4 years or so. The tooling has gotten a lot better on both the R and Python sides. And so I think I want to start kind of having some fun with this. But one thing, as I start to show you some of the things I've been looking at, I'll first show you kind of why this AEW thing really started kicking this off for me. So I've got their site up here, and then notice that they have rankings. They rank each wrestler based on their win-loss record. Now, of course, like I said, we all know this is not like the UFC. This is not MMA. We know that there is a predetermined outcome, that the bookers, as they say, are calling the shots. But with that said, it's nice to be able to have data like this. And so this is, when I saw AEW was going to do this, I was like, okay, well, maybe they're going to try, doing some cool stuff here. Well, I'm not the only one that apparently likes wrestling and data. Maybe I'm the only one that's going to live stream it, but at least so far. But I also got wind in one of the either the Reddit forums I go to sometimes to read about. They have an odd expression for this. They call it the dirt sheets, as they say. It was like back then when we didn't have the internet, there would be somebody on the inside that would kind of leak out the plans for like the next show or the next pay-per-view or stuff like that, and they would call those the dirt sheets. And so some of the forums that I go to that kind of keep that spirit alive, somebody this is where it starts to get really interesting. Somebody, I don't know him personally, of course, his name's Zach, decided to make a model to predict the rankings that this AEW Federation is giving their wrestlers. So, talk about a circle into like all this tidy models and machine learning stuff. The first thing that caught my eyes, he published this on our pubs. So I'm thinking, oh, is this really somebody in the R community that happens to have the similar interests as me is actually going to take this in his own hands? So I'm not going to read this whole thing here. There, I'll put let me put the link in here now before I forget. If you all want to have a look at it. I don't think I'll do this same model because that would be, I'd just be duplicating effort. But the cool part is it gave me insights into what data he used to get this information. And he wrote this in Python. Luckily, his code is on GitHub. So the site, we'll get to the GitHub stuff back in a second, but the site he's using is this one here. Very interesting name, Cage Match. And they call themselves the Internet Wrestling Database. Now we're getting somewhere, right? We got some data to play with now. And so what he has done is he's looked at all the different events that have occurred, whether they're what we call the TV shows or the pay-per-views, or ever like what we call tapings, and has actually scraped the web pages from these and assembled a pretty big data set, apparently. So the first step for me tonight is to kind of see how I can do this from the R side of things, using some of the more established, but also even some newer packages I've seen shared at various conferences that are apparently making scraping easier. So why not? Let's just give it a shot. So in order to do this, we're going to go to our development environment now. Flip the bits here. We are going to VS Code for this, but this is one case where my containerized development environment is really paying dividends here, because now for this particular repo that I've set up, I have a Docker file that has installed all the Python dependencies from Zach's analysis that I just showed, as well as what I need to do this from the R side. So now I have a container that is going to be equally ready for the Python stuff and the R stuff. And so I saw Zach's code on GitHub. I'll be the first to admit my Python skills are not nearly the level of my R skills, so a lot of this stuff is still pretty new to me, and how they, do certain scraping things especially. But what I thought I would do is I would take portions of his code, and I would take a similar approach as what I do with my R Markdown workflows, where I start putting my notes on how the development, like what the code is doing, so to speak, at least my interpretation of it, and do the same thing here with a Jupyter Notebook. So VS Code has revamped their Jupyter Notebook interface, and now it acts, I dare say, pretty similar to the way R Markdown does, albeit with some slight differences here. So I thought, okay, let's just start exploring this a little bit, and then see what he does with the Python packages, and then what I can do from the R side of things to either get that same data, or maybe even get even more data from the sites. So that's what we're going to look at now. I've started this Jupyter Notebook. I always call it IPython because I see it in the syntax there. So he imports a whole bunch of modules here. The big one that we're going to be looking at probably is Beautiful Soup, which apparently is the de facto standard for scraping in Python, scraping web data, I believe. I've heard good things about it, so this was maybe the second time I've seen code with it, because I haven't dived into that side of it before. So after importing all this, he sets up some various logistics for the date and making some strings out of that. And then he starts to look at getting individual event links from like a main event page. Now, one cool thing I'm going to do in VS Code here is, as I'm talking through this, I did a lot of this stuff off stream because I was so fascinated about it. I had to start diving into it, but I'm going to show you a cool extension in VS Code that gives me a web browser within VS Code itself. And we're going to actually look at the link that he has here, and we're going to kind of follow along. Let's see, can I copy text from here? Let's see. Okay, I'll just open up my other browser. I'm going to paste it in here. All right, see if that works. Yes, it did. Okay, so this is as kind of doing the streaming tonight. This actually makes my life easier to be able to not have to toggle between scenes of the web browser and this. Now I can kind of have them both side by side, so we can look at this together. So this is the events page for AEW, and you can see when you look at a table like this. Oh, I gotta close the cookie thing. Okay. This page here looks like a fairly standard HTML table, I think. We've got pretty rectangular setup here. We got the date, and notice he also had, or this website has dates in the future that have not happened yet. Obviously 2022 hasn't happened yet, so I think they're just putting placeholders here. They got the date, which promotion it is. Obviously we know it's AEW from the page, the name of it, the location, and the card. The card, as well as this event name, I believe are going to be two of the things that we want to extract from this table to assemble a much bigger set of links. So let's go back here for a second. I might squish this a little bit and I'll expand it back later. So he goes to this page, and then he basically goes for a loop of like the indexes. He can go in like the page results, and he starts getting the raw HTML out using Beautiful Soup to parse that, and then finding all of the hyperlinks, and then going through that, and then basically doing some scraping, I believe, of the links below to only retain certain links that have like this at the end of it, I believe. And then just basically appending that to like a dictionary or a list. So that is the first step. And in fact, we got to run this thing so we can see what we're talking about here. So I think I just hit this play button here. Yep, we're refreshing. Okay, I think we got that. We're gonna run this little setup here. Got that. And let's set this up. Okay, so it's running now. And then let's run what all events looks like. Okay, so all it did was it took like the last part of those hyperlinks, like after the question mark, which is kind of like in web URLs, the way you start putting in query parameters in the address. There's probably a better technical explanation. And then you separate the parameters with ampersands. So you can say, okay, this is ID1 and NR equal this big old number. So it looks like he's grabbed a bunch of those just to get those main links out. So maybe we start small. Let's just, for now, try to grab all of the links from this main page here. And I believe it's just going to grab everything that has a certain format. Maybe I think I made notes about this. I need to refresh my memory here. Okay, the event name column is in the syntax is always this question mark ID whatever and NR. So that one of them would look like this, I believe. Yep, so this is ID of 1, NR equals some weird number. This one obviously didn't happen yet, but we want to grab all of those links. So this was obviously the Beautiful Soup method of doing it. Let's see what we can do from the R side of things, and maybe we can make it even easier, or at least at the minimum follow a similar paradigm. So okay, so we're going to close this for now. I'm gonna try and do this without breaking everything. Haven't dynamically switched yet. Let me save this. Whoops, wrong keystroke. Okay. So now we're going to open up my R scripts, and I think I haven't done anything with, I was playing with a package called WebShot, which we'll get to in a little bit. Let's just make a new R script now. Let's select R for the language. Here. Let's save it now before I forget. So this time we're going to put in the R scripts directory. We're going to, I'm terrible at naming things, and apparently I'm not the only one. Let's call it Scraping Explore. Okay. So the packages that we want to use, I think the obvious one that I've heard about, and I've used actually a little bit. Yeah, exactly, Big Pot. Yeah. You should see some of the stuff I call things at work. It's just like random stuff. So in the R side of things, one of the packages that gets if Jenny Bryan has trouble naming things, then I feel like I'm in at least decent company. Sorry, I wanted to search for something before the package that I think gets a lot of attention in the community, also from the folks at our studio. I'm actually gonna put in the web viewer again. Is rvest. Yes, exactly, Tan. So that's what we're gonna look at first, because rvest is literally meant to scrape web pages. I think it was inspired by Beautiful Soup. And we're gonna see what that looks like, but that's not the only thing in town. But let's just get this in our session first. First, I gotta launch an R session, of course. Let's do that. Okay. Oops, got an extra parenthesis there. So I believe I have this installed. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, well, I have RM for this, so I thought I installed that last night, but apparently not. Throw rvest in there. Oh, that's so fast. I love it. I'm going to load this now. And there is another one that I heard about in a... Oh, where did I hear it from? I think it was a conference or something. But I also bookmarked it because I thought it would be interesting when I got to a point of trying this out for myself. I'm going to copy it from my bookmarks and put it here. It's a package called Ralger. Ralger? I don't know what this one is. They're saying it makes it easy to scrape a website. It's built on top of rvest and XML2, so it's like maybe a wrapper on top of it. But apparently they have tried to make more, abstracted functions that kind of do a main scraping. I don't know if it'll really work, but they claim that if you have like an HTML like table on the web page, that it should be able to grab it. Table scrap. So they have, let's see if this works, that a page like this, where it has an HTML like table of a rank and a title, that they say this table scrap function might be able to grab that just on its own. So let me put this in the chat here if you all want to look at this as well. Maybe we try this first. So first step is let's get this installed, and that's going to be, it's on CRAN, so I think it's just simple enough. We just do rm install Ralger. I have no idea how to pronounce it. We got a few oh, so this package uses another one that is helpful when you want to scrape multiple things, called robots text, or TXT. That helps kind of check if a website kind of gives you, I don't want to say permission, but it doesn't like forbid scraping of sites. Yeah, I mean, maybe Tan, that will work, but I'm also part of me is just interested in trying these things out to see how they compare, because I'll probably do both methods just to see which one is easier in day-to-day usage. Let's load it. Alger. Okay, we loaded it up. And so we're going to define the links. By the way, I always like to interject my notes about using things like VS Code throughout this, but like RStudio, if you have like a comment and you put a few dashes afterwards, you can have an outline view and it will let you navigate through those, much like RStudio has on like the right side of the source window. Be able to get that outline view and click through things. So I'm just gonna start doing that here. I'm gonna call this AW events. We're gonna copy in the link that I got from the other page. Okay, where did it go? Oh, it's in my other file here. Let me find it in the other. Gotta go to the promotions page. Hold on. Okay, I found it. All right, let me put this in here. Okay, so we got the events link here. Oh yeah, that's a good tip. All right, Ellie and Hugh, that you could also construct these comments in such a way that you could run these in like an R Markdown paradigm. That reminds me, if any of you didn't catch Thomas Mock's like R Markdown like amazing live stream that was that last week on YouTube, definitely check it out, because there's lots of nuggets, especially towards the end, that I want to use for my more dynamic R Markdown generation, especially as we start doing more complicated things and making templates that get compiled into more specific files and be able to deploy those automatically. There's lots of things in that stream that let you do that, and that was one of the highlights on our recent R Weekly issue that came out on Monday, I believe, or Tuesday. Yeah, it was Monday. That was curated this week by Tony Elhabar. Yeah, he did a great issue this week. So, all right. So let's get back to business here with the scraping here. Yeah, so VS Code support for our Markdown support in VS Code is getting better. I wouldn't say it's completely on par with RStudio yet, but they did make it so you can have kind of a live preview on the right side that gets refreshed every time you save it. It's still not quite as native feeling as what it is in RStudio, but they did make some updates recently to make that better. So, okay, let's start and do word wrap here, because that always helps. Let's start doing this the way this Ralger package wants us to do, and just see if it works. And if it does, great. If not, then we'll pivot. Yeah, Unicorn Quarter. I know you've been trying some stuff out too. I think it's better than it was. I just don't think it's quite there. Oh, you have a PR for it. Oh, very cool. I'm really interested in see how the development of this goes. In fact, the major developers of that extension, Kuhn Ren and other folks, I'll be honest, I want to get a conversation with them sometime, because I think it's fascinating what they've done to build this support for something that Microsoft just never built native support for. They've all built this from the ground up, so I think there's probably a fascinating story around that. Okay, so we're gonna use the table scrap function, and we're gonna put the link in here. Let's see. Let me see if I need any other arguments here. Whoops. Okay, so I think they just used the link. Okay. All right, I think we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it, see what happens. Let's get our link compiled here. Let's see. Well, this is to be expected. So apparently there's something going on with this. Although when I see that kind of cryptic message about connections, that definitely has me worried. Now, what do we do here? Maybe we'll try debugging it. I don't know if this will help or not, but I'm just kind of curious what this looks like when we go into the source of it. This is the other thing about VS Code is I'm not quite as comfortable with the debugging mechanisms yet as I am with RStudio, but at the very least I can at least get into a browser and start checking some stuff out. So what was that error? It was incorrect data check, so I'm not sure if that shows up here anymore. Oh, undefined error. Okay, so it was undefined error. Oh, no, it wasn't undefined error. Oh, no, it is. Yeah, okay. So let's see at what point does this fail. So I'm not sure. Start stepping through this. I'm going a little fast, but let's see what the cond is. Oh, it's not there yet? Oh, okay. Oh, it's a try catch. Oh boy, okay, try catches. So what it does here is basically says what Tan just said. It's basically taking the link and reading HTML and then trying to get the table out of it. And apparently something happened with that where it broke. But the error was very odd at the very end. So let's probably get to that point. Oh, okay, at least we're in this point. Let's see if we get table. Nope, table broke. Okay. Yeah, I agree. This is wrapping on top of rvest. So I think it's trying to shortcut some things or make it easier for people to get started. But as we're seeing here, it did not quite pan out. Yeah, so yeah, exactly, Isomar. And it is more like a wrapper. Yeah, Tan's right. It's a wrapper for it. Sorry, you mean you lost my voice? I hope not. It looks like it's all registering. Let me know if you lost my voice on the stream, but it looks like on my end it's working. Okay. So let's we're gonna comment this out. Oh, okay. Thanks, Tan. Yeah, sorry. Last time on the stream, my video feed just froze right when I started streaming. I'd like reboot VS Code or whatever. Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for that. Let's just do this the rvest way. Yeah, no problem. I appreciate the heads up. I always, yeah, anytime something goes haywire, please let me know, because I have probably one of the most complicated OBS setups of anybody in the data science community. But as Big Pod can attest, I don't have Martin's setup, Martin Windpress's setup. I'm like maybe second or third rung down below that. Okay, so let's do an rvest way. Now for this, I'm probably going to go to the other view and kind of look at the documentation, the Governor Evolve view, and kind of see if we have articles that can kind of get us started. So we can try. I'm going to start typing a little things in my notes here. We're going to start to read HTML. Okay, so I think I have enough of what I need to do here. I'm going to go back to VS Code. We're going to read HTML, EW, events. Oh yeah, I probably want McGreeter in here because I'm going to do the pipe. I have not done the base pipe yet. I haven't. Yeah, that's what we're about to find out, Tan. If this doesn't work here, then I know there's something wrong. but we're gonna try that and see. So I'm actually gonna look at that code you just put in there earlier about HTML. Yeah, HTML table. Let's see what happens. All right, let's see if this does anything. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. It may be an artifact of the container setup, but the odd thing is that the Python one worked without a problem. Yeah, let's just see if this also has... Yeah, okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. So, yeah, Tan has some great tips. Let me make sure. I think I have HTTR. Let's load it just in case. Now, what's interesting, Tan, is that I did use HTTR for the streaming calendar Twitch API stuff before I got wind of Coder Cow's Twitch R package, and I had no such issues scraping that information. Like, I was able to get HTTR to work on this. So let's give this a shot. Get. Okay, so I have ideas. I wonder if this thing is messing it up. I wonder if this web browser preview thing is messing it up. Because I did not use this in the Twitch streamer thing. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to restart R. I'm just going to do that here. And let's relaunch it and see if that does it. So I guess this is the equivalent of a VS Code R bomb right now. That we're not able to get this going. Let me just load this. Let's get AEW events. Wow. Wow. Now, okay, now we're really perplexed here. Well, but I had such grand plans for this to do some real scraping. Now we're in debugging. Yeah, let's start saving the status. Right, let's do that. But it doesn't even get to that point. Like, it literally can't even get there. So this is, whoops. This is a really bizarre situation. Now, what I can do is I can close this, reopen the container, and not do the IPython stuff in the beginning. Maybe that messed it up doing that in the same session. Maybe I got too cute with it. So we're going to quit this, close remote connection. So now we got my default VS Code. We're going to... That's what I'm about to do next, but I'm going to give this one more try, and then we're... Why did I feel like I had a bad feeling I was going to regret not putting our studio set up right at the time of this? I had a bad feeling about it, but I just didn't know why. Okay. So now, I have not opened the Python stuff. It is not aware of it. Now, I know I have at least one user on here that's cool with Linux, so we're gonna... Do I have ping? Oh, I don't even have ping on here? Oh, geez. Okay. All right, I was gonna try and do that, but that may be a telling sign, actually. No, I don't have Anaconda on here. So BigPod, what's happening is I cannot get any web page to be accessed via like curl stuff. Whereas in my other developer containerized setups, I was able to hit APIs without a problem. But now, for some reason, I can show you what the error looks like when let's boot up R again. Let's see if it just fixed itself. I'm not sure. But let's grab this. Yeah, this is something about curl, I think. That is really, really bizarre. You have a problem too. What is this? Oh, you didn't get it from me. Haha. What is going on here? But again, the odd thing is the Python one worked just fine. So this is one of the more bizarre things. But okay, to Unicorn Coder's point, the best way to troubleshoot this now is to make sure this is not a VS Code issue, I think. But the only way we're going to know is if we spin up the RStudio container. Now, time for some behind the curtain, so to speak, on my dev container setup. So what I have is this Docker file is for the VS Code stuff. So this is literally meant to just get VS Code up and running. I have another one. Oh, I think I have all the dependencies installed. In fact, you're looking at it right here. I'm not sure if you're looking carefully, but I have libcurl4 installed, libxml2dev. These are the ones that R package uses behind the scenes to drive the getting. Well, I thought I got that because the in the GitHub repo for VS Code's development containers for the R one, they did have that via SDK for .NET for some reason. So I just kept it in there just in case. I don't really know why, to be honest. So I feel like I'm getting all of the dependencies. And like my other container that I did this with, it worked just fine. So I'm really perplexed. Okay, so a lot of you are saying this may not be just me. It could be just a bad upstream issue right now. But there is a way I can isolate that without too much fuss. Let's close this. And then we're gonna close this container. Now I'm gonna open up Shiny Cow. So Shiny Cow, for those of you who watched my streams before, this is the one that I started with to build the Shiny app for the Shiny Calendar project. And when I was first learning it, I had vignettes that went to the Twitch API to start exploring it. So let's boot one of those up and see if I'm still getting weird issues with that. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna now, those of you that were wondering about the R Markdown support in VS Code, we're gonna do that now. Although I don't want to run the whole thing, so I may not do the whole thing, but let's just run these. Oh no, I forgot to do the R session. That gets me every time. So I went to the default terminal. Let's create that. Okay, we're on there. All right, so let's just get the chunks set up. And if it works for this container, then I'm really perplexed. We got that. Setup. Okay, no errors. You're not seeing my secrets. We don't do that here. This will be the first indication. Oh, Twitch auth worked. Okay, so this is an older version of it. So let's run the... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I screwed up. I don't have that YAML file anymore, do I? Oh, I tweaked it. Oh, okay. That's in another container. Yeah, I definitely doxed myself this time in ways I did not anticipate at all. I have another development container that'll be easier to test with. I have the streamer data container. which actually is also on our studio if I need to do that. So let's close this one. And we are going to open streamer data. Okay. Okay, so wow, I didn't even remember my terminal placement. That's crazy, because I moved that to the side for this container and it remembered it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is this is the real deal. This is the one that's run every 6 hours on GitHub Actions to scrape the Twitch API. So we're just going to run parts of it here and make sure it works. Oh, I did it again. Oh, gosh, that's going to annoy me. Okay, let's get rid of that. I can't highlight the whole thing, so I got to delete it the old-fashioned way. Okay. Our terminal time. Okay. Let's load these things. Now this is, I restructured the YAML file stuff, so now every streamer in the system, so to speak, has their own YAML file. So I just said, turn that here. So this is going to read the YAML files. There's no real analysis yet. And this is going to grab the streamer data. Well, guess what? I think it's working. Wait. Well, oh no, that. Hold on. That may not be a problem. I know that I saw some 404s there, but I think that's expected. Yeah, some people don't have a schedule, so that... Oh, okay. I will try that, actually, yeah. Because I think what I have here, I just want to look at the streamer data. I think it actually did work. So let's look at streamer data together. Do that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got it. Yeah, we got it because this description is done dynamically. So we know it's not my computer's problem. It's not VS Code itself. So we're gonna, okay. So that's diagnostic method number 1. That from an existing container, it worked. So let's quit that. Let's close this one down. Let's go back to the wrestling scraping. And let's see. So I think what Isomore you're saying is we wrap this in a URL call here, this string. So let's see if that does the trick. Yeah, I don't think Docker is... No, the problem is I'm just an idiot and I keep forgetting to do the R terminal here. All right. Okay. Let's get these loaded. And let's see if this... Yeah, that's true. I am gonna look at that. Whoops. Oh, maybe I'm not using this right, Isomore. I need to look up what the URL function actually does. Functions to manipulate connections and files. Yeah, well, I want to solve it one way or another. I just need to see how they use this thing. Oh, didn't I load it? Oh, I thought I did. Well, let's try again. No, it doesn't. It doesn't like this URL thing here. Oh, okay. Let's try to read HTML. Yeah, all right. Hey. Look at that. I think we got something. All right. But the question is why? That's going to perplex me for a while. I never had to do this before. Usually I just supply as a character string the URL. Oh yeah, definitely got it. Pagematch.net. Yep, they got it. So what this means is that this one might work now if I do the URL version of it. Huh. Well, I'm learning something new, all of you. This is a new method for me. Oh, sorry, Isomore. I don't know if you were trying to put something in there. Sorry for that. Maybe Tan or someone can help him out. It must have been my stream elements got too cranky there. Oh, so table scrap does not like it, but read HTML does. Okay, okay. Yeah, so basically what we're going to do is, because of these weird issues, we're not going to do the table scrap version of it, because apparently it doesn't like my container setup for that. But what we're going to do now is we're going to simply see if we can get the table out of this. No, that didn't like it either. Oh, wow, okay. This is really, really bizarre. Wait, what happened here? Now didn't it just work? Didn't it just work before? I'm so, what am I doing here? I changed the variable. Good grief, what did I do? That was so silly, okay. Okay, so that one worked. I just want to try this one more time. Nope, that does not work. Okay, so AEW data works. Let's try this HTML table thing again. Okay. Well, I don't really know what those closing unused connection bits are about, but I think we may have something here, though. AW data is a list of one. Let's view that. Well, look at that. Look at that. It actually kind of got it, but there's one issue here, though. It doesn't grab the link version of the variables for like these here. So we might have to, I have to look at the documentation for HTML table and see if there's like something I have to do to help that out or not. Use first row as a header. Trim. Name that strings. List the tibbles when it applies to multiple elements of a document. So, okay. So I'm guessing I need, okay, I know what I need to do. I think I need to give it a little help here. Yeah, I just want to try something here. I want to try doing the HTML element in the new table here. Maybe that'll help a little bit, I don't know. Maybe not. Let's see, let me look at it again one more time. Oh, that actually helped out a bit, but like you said, Tan, it's not going to get the links. It got a nice table representation, although I need to change the header thing. There was an argument for header. What was that argument? Let's see. Use first row as header. If NA will use. Huh. Okay. So that should have done that, but it didn't really do that. That's okay. Oh, yeah, the font on here. Oh, okay. Well, what I can do, I can at least zoom in the entire window a little bit. I don't know how to make the font on this part bigger. Like, if I knew how to make that bigger, I would. I hope that now the font of the code itself looks better. But okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to be a little more intuitive with this. So grabbing links from an HTML table. Okay. Yeah, so actually, when you mentioned that, Ellen Hugh, is there a way to make this not the minimal view? Because I wasn't aware if there's a way I could change that. I have not explored this at all, other than okay. Love to know how to do that. If you have any tips or anything, yeah, please let me know. And if you have a link to share, maybe you could whisper that to Tan and he can put it in because he's one of my mods, and I can definitely make you a mod after this. I'm just kind of a little knee deep in trying to figure this piece out, how I can get the links. I may just have to take the approach of the Python script and just find all the links and then do like the post-processing afterwards. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that. It was good to explore this though. I mean, I got a table out of it. It just wasn't. It was the text version of everything. So let's still do this bit here. Okay. And what I want to do now is I want to see if I can. Is it just A? That work? Let's see what happens here when I do this. Okay, I do get AEW links. Let's see what that looked like. Oh, I have to post-process this, don't I? I only got one node, though. That's kind of odd. Okay. I'm kind of looking at my old links for scraping here about ways I can get links easily from this. I see some of my older tutorials used XML2, and I really don't want to use XML2. That gives me the... XML just gives me, I don't want to say shivers, but it's not easy. HTML elements. Oh, right. They have a plural version of it. Thank you. I told you it's been a while since I did scraping. Okay. Let me close some of these here. Yeah, list of 412. That's more like it. Okay. Yep. Now we're getting somewhere. So that's interesting. Yeah, I don't exactly have executives following me on Twitter at all. I'm not that popular. That's interesting. All right, Tan, exactly. Okay, so we HTML element the table first, and then we get the links. You're right, because then that will just get the links from the table, and then we can post-process it easily there. See, it's all coming together. So what we do then is, since there's only going to be one table, I believe, and then we'll pipe that to get the links. I hope it works this way. We will see. Okay. Yeah, let's see how many we have. Now we have 306, so it's definitely a smaller list. Let's see what they kind of look like at a high level. Aha, check that out. It's got most of the right format. But what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the links that had too much at the end. So what I mean by that is, actually, now that we know that the problems weren't because of that browser preview, we're going to put that back here. We're going to go back to that page. Let me put it back here. And then No, I did not want to do that. I'm going to dismiss it. Okay. This link here only has the ID and the NR query parameters. So that means we want to, once we get these links, remove all of those that have the extra nonsense and be able to simply have that list. So I think now I gotta remember, how do we, oh wow, GitHub Copilot I think got it. Let's see if it did it. HTML ATTR. Let's see if this does it. That was GitHub Copilot, by the way. It's trying to guess what I'm doing, and maybe I got it right this time. Okay, let's see. We're just gonna look at the first few elements of it. Ah, brackets. No, it's still okay. Well, I mean, it got it. Yeah. So now we have to do the subsetting. Okay. So. Yeah, it's GitHub Copilot streaming on Twitch and a Docker container that runs both R and Python at kind of the same time. How's that for inception, folks? So now what we want to do here is I want to find an easy way to only retain the URLs that had the correct structure, where it's ID equals something and NR equal this, and that's it. So I'll tell you the way I usually do these things. I'm sure there is a more elegant way, but I would use something like, I'm going to do a per call, and then in the custom function for each string here, I'm going to detect how many of the ampersands are there, and there should be only one. And if there's only one, then this URL should be this structure, and I shouldn't have to fuss anywhere else. Then I simply, if it detects that there's more than them, I'm going to simply make them missing and then exclude the missing at the end. So if anybody has a better method, let me know, but I feel like that might work here. Okay, so we're gonna do a custom function here. I'm gonna call this end terms. Is there a, oh, str count? I think that's the one I want. Okay. X. Now I don't know if I have to like delimit this thing, and well, we'll see. I don't know if I have to delimit it or not, but let's see if the yeah, thanks Unicorn Coder. This is remix gaming music, so it should be non takedown worthy, if they say. It should all be, you know, no issues, but thanks for that. So I'm going to say if n is not equal to 1, we're going to return NA. Else we're going to return .x. Okay. No idea if this is going to work, but let's give it a shot. Well, I definitely got the message out of it. Okay. So now, AEW links. Let me just try what it looks like in the viewer here. Yep, we got a whole bunch of NAs and the and our structure. Yep. Okay. So then, again, I definitely know this is not the most elegant way to do it. Oh, you've got. Oh, you. Tan is on the case here. Let me open his link up and see what he got. Oh, come on, you coded that on this. Okay, let's take a look here. That's amazing. All right. Yeah, Tan's about to school me here. Yep. Okay, so he's got that HTML element table. Ha! Yeah, this is way better. This is way better. This will definitely get the tidy way I want. So we're literally gonna put that in, and yep. The indentation went crazy, but let's. All right, that's awesome stuff. Yeah, it's nice that I inspired you to do some live coding of wrestling scraping data. Nice, nice. Okay. All right. So what you did here is you just grabbed the table and you simply did the href version and then the text as well, which makes complete sense. Then deal, yeah, exactly. Because now we're in the tidy workflow here, the tidyverse workflow. Yeah, this is exactly what we need. Yep. Oh yeah, I can re-indent that. Okay. This can be here. Yep. All right. Let me move the. Oh, I can't move that back. Oh, this is where I'm still not. Very. Gonna close this again. We don't need it right now. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's do that. Get these cleaned up in here. Yeah, I mean, BigPod. For those that don't know, BigPod is way in Europe, so the fact that he's still up is amazing to me. But yeah, you gotta get your rest, buddy. Oh, I need Tibble, of course. I think I have Tibble in here in the prefix of this in case. Okay, we got URLs as a data frame. This is going to be easier to work with. We got the row, URL, and the text. And now we're going to do the dplyr magic for filtering. So the way I do this, it'll be very similar to what I was doing above. Yeah, well, anyway, have a good night, BigPod, and yeah, hang in there. I know you've been looking, and you'll land one soon. I know. I like to make indicators for these things. And do map LGO of URL. Now, I always do these like custom functions for doing it. Sorry, I'll work on my workspace here a little bit. We get rid of that. I'm going to take kind of the code I did up here. We're going to make it a little easier. Because all we're going to do here is after we get the terms, is we're going to return if that's equal 1, because that's all I want. All right, and then we're going to filter for valid URL. Okay, let's see. Oh, I don't have dplyr in here, do I? Okay, I gotta load that. Yep, okay. All right, let's look at our data frame. Got 200, that's more reasonable. Now what's interesting is I see some of these don't have text with it. Oh, you know what those are. those are that other column. Ah, yeah. That's like the card column. Or is it? No, that should have had a text with it. I'm exploring some of the other page here to see if I can figure out what those. Yeah, what are those other links? Oh, the one between. Oh, it's the AEW logo. Yeah, exactly. So we got a. Yeah, Pan's exactly right. In the promotion, they just have an image of the AEW logo, and I'll show you on the view here. They have a. It's silly. It's the same link every time. Now the easy way around this is we know that at least for this page, this link is always going to be a certain value. So we just need to not retain those links. We can do that over here. I'm just going to take out this bit here. And that should get rid of those. Yep. All right, now URLs is 100 observations, so we cut half of them out. Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's actually a cleaner way, Tan, is that we know the text isn't there. So, yeah. Like that much better. That way, if that URL changes, then we're not screwed. Okay, yep. Good call there. And then, just run that just in case. Yep, we still got 100 observations. And now, we got it. Wondering why. Okay, that. So what we do want is we want to do a similar thing, but we need the date as well. Now I think what we can do for that is, yeah, we're getting somewhere. We can get the date in a very similar way as what you did up here, Tan, is we need to date is in HTML table called, then yeah, you're right, that's actually easier, right? Yeah, then we can just bind it together. Yeah, let's do that first. Let's get rid of this stuff since I'm not doing that anymore, and let's look at change this to date. Just see what this gives me first. AW date table, it's a list. Okay, after I do that, an HTML table. Now it's a tibble. Now the header thing didn't work, but I wonder if I can just skip it or something. Yeah, Tan, thank you so much for joining. I know it's late. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll be shutting down pretty soon as well. You're a big help as always. Tan-driven development, I'll call it. So, what I want to do now is I want to get the table date column. But this should be the header. Like, why won't it be the header? That's bugging me for a bit. Let's go back to the. So header. Use the first row as header. If it consists of tags, If true, they're left exactly as they are in the source document. Okay. Oh, thanks, Stan. Yeah, I'll look at that after the stream. Thank you so much. All right. And by the way, what Tan is talking about is if you want to connect with me and the rest of these awesome R and data science streamers out there, we have a Discord, literally just getting all of us together with our individual channels as well as some shared resources, shared collaboration. And that, you just do this command here, you can get a link to that. So I have my own channel on there. I'll be posting various bits. And now, yeah, so feel free to join up, say hi, and connect with all of us. It's a group that's growing by the day. And yeah, be happy to connect with all of you. Anyway, let's see if this all fixes it. It didn't break, so let's just see what. Yes, exactly. Okay, this is what I wanted. So you see here, let's get rid of this. We can see we've got the pound sign, the date. So we just need to bind as this is exactly the solution that Tan had as well. We're gonna bind the date column because it's gonna be in the same order of the rows that we got before, and just bind this together. Bind cows, and then we're gonna do a select. What did I call it? AEW date TVL. And that was capital date. Okay, let's make sure this works. We got it. We got a date. It's so a string date. And you do a project structure in VS Code. So yes, Isomar, I believe you definitely can. So in fact, this setup here is like a project setup where this folder has some configuration files that tell VS Code to do certain things. And you saw when I was troubleshooting the web calls and I booted up my streamer data workspace or folder, it put the terminal on the other side because that's how I left it when I closed it. So it saved that setting in a project specific area. Yeah. So thanks Unicorn Coder for joining. Much appreciated. And by the way, thank you so much again for the feedback on Shiny Cow, and that will be my next conquest to knock out some of those issues, either on stream or off stream. Yep. Okay. So I think we've got what we want here. Now, one thing to know is this is 100 rows, right? Because this table, this big table from the web page, actually has at least about 280 or so records. So, to mimic what we did and what Zach did in the Python script, is we kind of need to make a function out of all this, where the only thing that is appended to is this S thing. And that will actually mimic a lot of what the Python setup did, but we can do that with per. So this is kind of like exactly what I did with the Shiny Cow project, is I first started scraping Twitch stuff in an ad hoc way, and then I started making functions out of it to make it a bit cleaner. So we're skipping table scrap, that's out of here. We don't need this one anymore. We will need this as one parameter, but then we're going to get a vector of these. And I believe from the Python script there were Let's hope this doesn't break stuff. I'm about to open up the VS Code thing on the, I mean the Python script here, just to refresh my memory. Yeah, it opens in the deprecated version to start with, but let me see what we had here. There it is. This is going to be our S values. Go back here. Well, it's obviously not Python, so I gotta, whoops, keystroke. I gotta clean this up a bit. Okay, so that's going to be in a call to per. And we're going to basically wrap a bunch of this into a function. Yeah, exactly. It paginated the results. This is very common in the in web, data presentations, is they'll never show you everything, so you got to paginate through it. So I'm going to call this a different object name. And then, so in order to get everything back into a single data frame, I think I can do DFR in the map, in the per package, the map functions with the stuff at the end, tell it to coerce it into a different object. But let's just keep that on its own for now. I want to start making a function. And scraper. You kind of see where I'm going with this. I'm going to make a default value based on this. And then we're going to basically copy in Donkey Kong Country, one of my favorites growing up too. That was by a company called Rare. They made some classics for many systems. Nintendo kind of had an arrangement with them, and they were very hard games, extremely hard. Okay, so now what we should be able to do is just simply lift these into here, and of course the indentation messes up again. This is another thing in VS Code I haven't got the hang of yet, is the copy paste. Oh, Sea of Thieves, huh? Okay, I'll make a note of that. Okay, and now this X here, actually we'll just copy all of this now. It's not pretty, but it's effective. We're just gonna throw that in here. Now this URL is not going to be like this. We're gonna paste it. I'm just doing the page 0 just to be easy with it for now. Actually, no, I feel icky about that. We're gonna do glue it. We're gonna glue it. All right. AW events. Glue is an awesome package. I absolutely love it. This becomes %s equal, and that's page val. Yeah, it's been one of my favorites too. And there was another package I heard about in that R Markdown webinar called Whisker that has a slightly different take on it to make it more like the mustache framework, I believe they call it. I'm going to have a look at that too. Whisker, I never heard of it before that seminar. So that's another one on my list to look at. All right, I think I've matched all the parentheses. Yeah, I think that should do it. And then my indentation got messed up. Okay, Tibble. You are X there. Yep. This should all still work. I've got AEW date TBL. And then we're just going to return this at the end. Okay. Let me get these in here. This one needs to go kind of... I should just move this one below it. Okay. Let's get this going here. Uh-oh. Oh. You can see VS Code's trying to tell me I messed up. That must be here. Is it? Hold on. Look at this. Oh, blue. There. What's wrong? That should be fine, unless I mess up here. Maybe. No, I got that right. Huh. Oh. Is there an extra one here? Oh, what's that about? Yeah, no kidding. Okay. I had it right. Alright. Just had to get that one out of there. Okay, good. So map DFR is page vowels. And we are going to execute AW event scraper. Yep, VS Code says that's what I want. And then I just like to name the arguments just in case. .x. I think that does it. Let's see. Somehow my word wrap went away. Okay. Oh, it did another extra one? Ah, I hate when that happens. Okay. Okay, it's chugging through it. That's a good sign. No breaks yet. Uh-oh. Looks like we have a problem. Oh, I think I know. There is no 300. I think that... I remember looking at the Python code the other day. I think 300 doesn't exist. So I'm going to do 200 instead. I think that'll take care of it. Okay, let's hope that does it. Nope, must be something else going on. Okay. Now, typically when I see these with per, what I do is I first just return it as a list. And let's see if this still fails. And if this works, then it means that it just can't be combined. Oh, that doesn't work either. Okay. Now, I never have good luck with this last error bit. Let's see if that actually tells me where the error is. Can't recycle size 1 and size 2. Okay. So I guess we've got to investigate this. Now Now the question is, are all of them failing or just one of them? So what I do in this case is I just subset it and see if one of them works. Or now that one worked. We're gonna do the second one now. Yeah, I'm about to do debug once, but I'm just curious if it's... Yeah, that one worked. This is the one that should fail, the number 3. Yep, okay. So what that means is that we know it's somewhere in the 200 range. So the easy way around this is that a cool trick I learned about before is that we can do selective debugging. So we say page val equal 300 or 200, then browser. Okay. Yep, now we're in. Let's see if this works first. Yep, so we got that. That's 100 rows. And then now we're going to start stepping through the rest. So the first thing is the events page. And make sure we get a table out of that. And then I'm going to now selectively execute the rest of this and see at what point it falls down. So URLs worked. Yep, so that seems okay. So I just do selective execution and I kind of see at what point does it go crazy on me. So that seemed okay. So now we got 170 rows. So it's not 200 rows, we got 170. Although I'm seeing something here that makes me a little... Let me look at this. Oh, look at this. Look at this. So there is... So the filter that Tan recommended actually doesn't work for this last result because we have a bunch of junk links here that we don't want. Oh, actually, maybe this will fall out here. Yeah, let's try it here. See if this does it. Oh, okay, that seemed to work. Let's view that next copy. Oh, actually, yeah, it seems to have it. Yep, we seem to have valid rows. But the key point, though, let's look at the number of rows here. There's the problem. They have unequal number of rows. So this means that what we should do is we should check and make sure that date one. But that means that we are missing... Oh, because the date one had... Actually, no, I need to look at that one real quick. So that looks legitimate. We've got the event name that matches up. Yeah, we might fill rows, but now I'm concerned that I need to like really match them up correctly. That's what I'm kind of worried about. That might want to do the filtering after the bind. Yeah. Yeah, that might be the case. In fact, that's a good tip. Let's try that. Yeah. Tan, you're still here. My gosh, I thought you were going to bed. What about filter text percent in? Yeah, I thought about that. Let's try this one first. See if this doesn't. Nope, that doesn't work either. Okay, okay. But for the date one, it's going. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. So in the date one, we have this event name. You're saying that we filter for those that are in the original table that have the text as the same as that. Okay. Okay, I got it. I got it. Oh no, GitHub Actions are failing. I hate. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, let's try this first. Now I have to, because it's only one column, that I think that'll work. No, that didn't work. Let me make sure this reference actually did. Oh, that. Now I gotta look up what the text values are. These don't even look close. Wait a minute, wait a minute. I think I know the issue. I think I have to do the same thing here as I do with this URL. Let's see. I think that was the problem, is that it was getting the first page of the dates and not the last page. Let's see if that does it. Hold on. Okay, yep, now we got matches. Okay, let's see if that did it. Let's do whoops. Yes, 82. Okay. We might have it now. I'll do that filter just in case. Nice. Yep. AW double or nothing. That was... I'm going to look at it on the main web page just to make sure the dates match. Yep, 2305. 2305, the buy-in. Yep. I think we got it. We have ourselves a valid table. Now we're going to make sure it works for the whole thing. Yeah, I might not. Let me try running it with it first, and then I'll try taking it out and see if we still need it. Okay. Now we can run it on the full set of the vectors. Okay, that got me results back. Now let's see if we can make it easier and so and DFR it. Yep. Nice. Let's take a look. Looking good here. I think we have it. Yep. It's got 282 rows. That is the exact amount on the website. And then now let's see if Tan's idea works here, and let's get rid of this valid URL stuff and see if we still get don't do that VS Code. Get that same result. If it works here, then we'll just clean up the code. Okay, we didn't get errors. Let's take a look. I'm clearing out the junk here. Yep, 282 rows. Looks like it's all the same integrity here. I think we are good. We are good. So, there's obviously way more to do in this whole big work stream, but at least we've got some scraping done. So let's clean this up a bit. Now that code becomes a lot more elegant thanks to Mr. Dan here. All right. Cool. I think that is going to be a great way to end this one tonight. We've got ourselves a tidy table of URLs that we will then parse individually in probably our next adventure of grabbing the data associated when we click on those URLs. But we showed that just the rvest package does it again. Just simple grabbing of elements, grabbing a table, and then with some clever dplyr and tidy and Tibble magic with map, we got the table out of it. So good stuff all around. It is getting late here, so probably gonna sign off now. I definitely won't be doing a raid. I'm headed to bed right after this and have to get up and cook breakfast and lunch for the kiddos for school tomorrow. But I hope you all have a great weekend. Some of you in the US, enjoy your Labor Day off if you have that off. And like I said, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. Like I mentioned, I'll put this in here one more time. type. Oh, it should have populated. Let me try that again. Oh, it doesn't like me doing commands now. I'll put the Discord link in my, yeah, the bot went to bed, I guess. So that's weird. It was working before. Anyway, I'll have that link on my Twitch profile after this. But yeah, definitely join me up there. And the rest of my friends like Tan and Afton and Jesse and many others are on that Discord as well. And probably next time I'll either do some shiny cow fixing that Unicorn Coder found some great issues that we should solve, or I might continue on this scraping journey. I'm not sure which yet, but it'll be something fun either way. So, all right, gonna head out. Thanks a lot for joining, and like I said, enjoy your night, enjoy your weekend, and catch you next time. So see y'all later. Bye.